as Australians First People. We also acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation on whose land we meet today. We recognise the important role our First Nations people have within community, and we pay our respects to elders of this land, past, present and emerging. And I also would like to acknowledge everybody's from different countries. I would like to acknowledge all of you and hope that we have a great day today doing what we're doing with the Global Sisters, and I'm very proud of everybody. Yesterday, I just wanted to let you all know that I felt so connected. I get teary now to all of you, and it was like you were in the room with me personally. And I've never done this thing before. It's only been the last 2 weeks. So, coming from the background that I come from, I'm so proud to be here because I've seen all the changes. And believe you me, modern technology is the way for us to go and keep connected. I've had experiences where I was in Sweden with the Indigenous people there, and there was a South African young lad, Afro-American, and he had a laptop at one of the workshops I went to, and what he did, they asked him, he was going back to country, and he took the laptop with him. He said he was going back to set it up in his community, and one of the participants said, but there's no electricity in your village. He said, I'm going to set up solar power. And I'm sitting there thinking, that's worth well good. And eventually now I go home and we've got solar power up there. So, you know, it reduces the electricity cost. And I'm very proud of that. And you guys are the next generation, and taking what you're taking with the help of Telstra, and thank you, Telstra, doing in country. And I've been, like I told you yesterday, all over Australia to every different state and community. And it's time for us to stay connected to our communities and teach our kids. And you are the guys to do it. So hopefully we can connect, and I can set up my own screen one day and have a big chat room or something. And that may happen with the help of NCIE and all the good people around here.
I can help you.
So yes, so once again, welcome to you all, and don't forget to take all this back home to country, and respect the elders and help wherever you can with them, because we're really into technology, us at my age group, because our brain is like a computer, believe you me. We'll never lose our culture or our knowledge, and now we're sharing it with all you guys. So yeah, once again, a very warm welcome to you all, and thank you.
Okay, so anyway, we kick off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Actually, I might just say something.
Yeah. Peter's just going to quickly say something.
Yeah. I'm Peter Melky from NCIE, and I'm the lead for Social Enterprise Pathways. How we came to deliver this program is with our very good friends and partners in this program, which is Global Sisters. And this first module is all about finding your idea and thinking of ways that you can find something you love doing, that means something to you, that means something to community, and maybe working out a way that there's potential to build a revenue stream from that. So we're really happy to be with Global Sisters in this program, and so grateful to IDX for inviting us to be part of this. Aunty Beryl and Adelle will be sharing the presentation, and you'll be able to contact me afterwards if you have any questions and ways that NCIE can try and support you in your big idea.
Thanks, Pete.
Thanks, Pete. Now, the workshop today is all about finding your big idea. I'll just let you know what my big idea was when I was a bit younger than you, very young. I was 16 years old when I came to Sydney. And my passion was always education and food, because that's what my parents and my oldies and my family, and I come from a very large family, and that's what I was taught, and it stayed with me. So I was able to get the education. I was able to work in hospitality. That's the only sort of jobs that we were allowed to do in that day and age. So we were cleaners, we worked in kitchens, and I took that on board and learned everything that I could. And when I got an education, I became a teacher, and my dream was to take all the education and my skills back to the community. And I was able to do that with a lot of struggle. But it happened because I was so determined and resilient, because I knew that our people in community needed some form of education. So I set up the Job Ready program and was able to come back into Redford and do it on the block. And my first lot of students, we set up a cafe on the corner of the block, and we started from there. And my thing was, if I train them, get our mob educated, and then find them a job, and then that way they've got a better quality of life. For over the past 50 odd years in my life, I've been doing that, and then it worked, and it's still working. So it's been a journey for me, and it's all about having your own ideas. So I came on board because with NCIE, which I work with through the Job Ready program, it's still going. We're still training people. We're still getting them into jobs. A lot of them go on their own journey, and then they become who they want to become. And I'm still there to support them. And having NCIE as a hub, we're all here to support one another. And it doesn't matter how old or how young you are, you'll always find somebody to talk to or share your ideas with. And I'm sure you will find that in your own communities. And because Aboriginal people are resilient, and we are carers and sharers, regardless of what we do and who we are and where we come from as from our own countries. And it's just amazing. I've been all over. My job as a foodie took me around the world. So I was able to speak in front of 10,000 people in Turin in Italy. It was amazing but scary. It was just amazing. They were all Indigenous from all over the world, and I was a part of it. And I continue to be a part of that because I'm a part of Slow Foods International, and I was able to take our culture and our cuisine, as I call it now, and our bush tucker, that's what I like to call it, over to the world and share that. And it's been an experience for me, and I hope you take your big idea and continue with it, and because everybody has an idea. And you will be able to do that because I know with Global Sisters, they're there to help. And I think that's what we needed. I never had that sort of help. I've done everything virtually on my own. And but I'm still here. So that's really great. So within sharing what I'm doing today, I hope that you take away a few ideas from what we've got, and with Adelle and Grant and everybody at NCIE, just let you know that we're all here to help you. You'll find me through Adelle or Grant. I'm always around. So yeah, I'm here to listen. Thank you.
Thanks, Alan.
Thank you, Aunty. Oh, I love hearing all your stories, and we're going to get to hear even more from Aunty throughout the session today, which is really exciting. So I am just feel so honoured to be here with you all today. Thank you for coming. I think most of you were all in the yarning circle yesterday. Is that right? Give me a wave if you were there yesterday. Yeah, okay, great. Yeah, so I did introduce myself briefly there yesterday. So I might just get straight into the presentation. So I'm just going to share my screen. So feel free to ask any questions using the chat bar, and we have the team on board to answer any of your questions for you. So as we've been discussing today, we are here for the My Big Idea workshop, as Aunty was talking about. So this is a partnership between the National Centre of Indigenous Excellence and Global Sisters. So Aunty's already done the acknowledgement of country, but we would love it if you could just pop in the chat what land you are from. We would love to see that. Oh, I don't know if someone would like to read those out, Christy or Aunty, in the chat.
Can you read it?
Yes.
No. And he's from Gamillaroi.
Danny.
Yeah, Danny.
Danny is from Gamillaroi.
Karis is on Gubby Gubby Country.
Karis is on Gubby Gubby Country.
Jody and Tess.
Jody and Tess are Gamillaroi.
That's all there so far.
Okay, that's wonderful. We'll keep putting them in there, and so we can see where you're from today. So just a bit of housekeeping. So most of you, or all of you, should have got sent a digital workbook by Global Sisters. Now, if you have that today, that is wonderful. You can use that on your screen and fill it in as we go, or if you have it printed out, that's fine. If you don't have it, that is also okay. All you really need today is some pen and some paper, and that'll be fine. You don't need anything else than that. So we should be finished by 12 o'clock today, maybe even before that. We will hopefully have a little time to have a break and stretch our legs halfway through and have a toilet break. And as I said before, make sure you speak to us in the chat box and let us know if you have any questions along the way. There will be opportunity for everybody to speak and talk as well throughout the rest of the program today. So what is the My Big Idea workshop? The My Big Idea workshop is perfect for those who are considering business or self-employment. You might not have a specific idea yet, but you know you want to do something. You may have way too many ideas and don't know which one to choose. Or you might have an early stage hunch. Finding your big idea. This workshop is designed to help you find the big idea that you want to turn into a business. How? Today we will help you come up with a business idea and put that idea through 3 fitness tests to see if it's ready to move forward. Are you ready? Yes? I hope so, because that's what we're here for. So a little bit about Global Sisters. Now, one thing, this is Mandy, the picture here. She's one of our founders. I'll tell you a little bit about her in a moment. But the one thing we like to make sure everybody's aware of before we start this process is that we have a little bit of a business checklist. So we want to make sure that these things are part of our business model moving forward if we choose to go into business. So firstly, we have respectful of First Nations people. We want it to be environmentally sustainable. We want our business to make sure it is good for people and good for the planet, for animals as well. And also ownership of your own brand. So when I talk about ownership of your own brand, we're talking about this is going to be a business that you have come up with, that it's your thing, it's not somebody else's. So you might have heard of some things out there like the pyramid schemes where you've got different things. I think there's Isogenics, which is like a shake. There's Juice Plus, there's Tupperware, for example. Now, these are all businesses that you can run, but someone else owns the brand. So that's not what we're talking about today. That's great, but we're looking at maybe something that you've come up with yourself. So this is Mandy, and Mandy is an amazing woman who's come up with this incredible idea, which is Global Sisters. Mandy's story, she grew up on a farm in Armidale, and then her family moved to Indonesia when she was quite young. She talks about when she was about 8 and wandering around the flower markets by herself in Indonesia. She said she used to walk across this bridge each day which was lined with people with leprosy on both sides. Mandy's parents split up after she moved back from Indonesia. It was a very messy situation, and her mum packed them up, and Mandy and her 3 siblings and mum lived in her grandparents' spare bedroom. They were facing homelessness. Her mum couldn't afford to pay the mortgage. She went into welfare. She was picking up jobs cleaning, and Mandy witnessed what life was like for a single mum with 3 kids in a country town with no jobs. Mandy was aware of poverty from a reasonably young age and has seen it from both ends of the spectrum. Mandy wanted to work with women, and economic empowerment made sense to her. She could see that in Australia, as a high-income country with a high cost of living, there were only 2 choices for disadvantaged women. You get a job or you go on to welfare. She was never interested in band-aiding. Global Sisters was about creating a new alternative for women in Australia and creating a model we could then take overseas and use in high and low income countries. So this is, Mandy then came up with what we have now today, which is the My Big Idea program. She started with just coaching, but she realised that coaching was good, but that women need business education, and that business education is good, but there's no point in it without a solid idea. So in 2016, the My Big Idea program was launched, and Global Sisters is a really big organisation, and we have lots of different programs, and this is just the first start. This is the start of coming up with your business idea. So I'm going to pass this next slide over to Aunty, and she's just going to ask you a little bit about how you're feeling today.
Hi guys, how are you feeling today? And I hope you're feeling well.
Write in the chat.
Right.
To write in the chat, look at the words that are there.
Yeah. To write in the chat, choose one word that describes how you are feeling now, and the one word to describe how you want to feel, write in the chat. Do I say the words?
Yeah, they've got some really good responses there. So,
We'll read out some of these responses.
Optimistic,
excited,
excited, deadly,
excited,
excited,
organized,
organized,
hopeful,
hopeful, content.
Some good responses there.
That's some very good responses. Thank you.
Some great responses. Thank you, everybody. I'm so glad everyone's feeling good and positive. That's really great. Sometimes we get people who say, oh, a little bit scared, not quite sure, but it sounds like everyone's really excited about today, which is great. Sorry. So, sorry, one back. So this is just a picture of the digital workbook that I was talking about before. But like I said, this is something that you don't need to have right with you at this moment. You can just use pen and paper, and you can go back and look at that later. There's also a lot of things in the workbook that we won't have time to cover today. So it would be probably useful for you to have a look and just see what other things we cover if we had a little bit longer time. So this is our first activity that we're going to do today, and I'm going to get Aunty also to take you through this activity because she's really good at this one. I like her ideas. So I'll leave it up to you, Aunty.
So the activity is what's in your hand. Imagine you have a grove of coconut trees in your backyard. The trees produce lovely plump coconuts and provide a shade on hot days. How many ways can you think of to make money from your coconut trees? You have 2 minutes. Go type in chat and we'll come up with your own ideas.
Yep, so put as many ideas as you can come up with guys in the chat about what you could do with these coconut trees to make money. Okay, we've got bowls, cups, body oil, coconut recipe book, oil, reproduce, moisturizer. Some great ideas. So many things you can do with coconuts. Skin products, coconut water, hit husband, oh gosh, weaving, milk, cream, water, hair products, sorry, rope, water, art, oil, food, clothing from the fibers.
Curry chicken and coconut oil.
Yeah. Well,
Look what Joe you rapid. His husband.
I know, yeah.
that's a bit rough, the hit the husband one, but anyway. Someone's not in a good mood with their husband, say. Fire starter. Aromatherapy.
Some great ones there.
Yeah.
Amazing. So many good ideas. All right.
It's really great.
Mm.
So how many, it sounds like you all came up with lots of ideas. Think about maybe which one you're the most proud of. Hopefully not throwing the one at the husband. Aunty, do you want to go through all these other ideas that they might not have covered?
Okay, I've just got a list of things here. It's did you have any of these? Milk, organic coconut cream, which is pretty trendy at the moment. Coconut oil, coconut water, coconut gel, and like I said, because I'm a foodie, I've made lemon myrtle curry chicken with coconut cream. So that's another idea. Like I said, I'm a foodie. Then we have, what about these? You've got basket weaving. You can also utensils, salad bowls, gifts like little vases and pots. Rope. You can even make. Then we have some coconut biodiesel. We have coconut charcoal powder, cocoa charcoal. So it's very, very well worth looking at, especially if you live on the islands. Or what about cooking with coconut workshop in your coconut grove? And I know food works because, like I told you, I am a foodie. And or renting the space out as a tropical photo shoot or video location. So I can see that happening on GI. I can see it happening on a few of the islands when they grow the coconut tree. And it could be some idea that you can take back to community and set up your own business. Because everything is there. Don't forget what is on the land, and you can make use of it and take it as your own idea and grow with.
Great. Thanks, Aunty. So you guys came up with some great ideas then, and I just want to explain a little bit why we chose to do that activity. And I just wanted to show you this. This is the Coconut Grove business model, and this is kind of the model that we're going to be working off today. So I just want to clarify that if you don't have an idea yet, that is fine. And if you have an idea already for a business, then I really hope today will really help you see if that idea will actually work. So the idea that we want to follow today is that, one, there is a founder, and the founder is you. So going back to the Coconut Grove model, you were the founder. So just say you came, you found all these beautiful coconut trees on this island, and then you're like, what are we going to do? So we believe that in business, there is usually a problem. Well, most of the time there's always a problem that your business is solving. So in the case of the Coconut Grove, you were the founder. Then you realize that, oh my goodness, we have a problem. We have many, many coconut trees. And maybe one of the problems you discovered was that people were very thirsty on the island and needed something to drink. So you decided to get a solution using the coconut trees. So you used the coconut milk and you bottled it up to sell and make money and make coconut, and so people's thirst was quenched, and you also got rid of all these problems with all these coconuts. And then we go along further and we have the customer. So we have a founder, we have a solution to a problem, and we have someone we can sell it to. And then we can go into a little bit more of the business model, but we probably won't get there today. But that's something we do in other programs further along in Global Sisters. So every idea you have will have many possible incomes, as you just seen from the coconut trees. If you are willing to explore them, you will need curiosity. You're going to need perseverance, because business is no walk in the park. It can be a far much more fulfilling and funner option than being employed and working for someone, but that doesn't mean that it's not going to be hard work and you've got to put in the hard yards. You're going to need some time to put into your business, and you're going to need willingness to stretch your thinking, to think a little bit out of the box. So I'll let Aunty read this slide for you all.
So your hobbies, interest or potential business. If you have a business idea already, or if you don't have any ideas yet, we are going to take you through a process to explore ideas for your business. And as you can see there on the screen, there's some weaving, like mats weaving and baskets. So that could be an idea you can take and run with it, or I'm sure you all have an idea, and it may not happen today, but it will happen in time.
Yes, and we really believe that you know, if we're going to make a decision to go into business, that it needs to be something we love. You know, there's no point starting a business if it's not something you're going to enjoy or something you're going to be good at. So that leads us on to the next slide, which is called our personal passion test. So you can only build a business, a thriving business, if you find the sweet spot between your passion and your skills and the things you love to do. So you can see here we've got 3 or 4 overlapping circles. So when we're thinking about business, it's really important that we think about moving forward, that our business needs to be something that we love to do, something that we are good at, and something that people would be willing to pay for. That is where we find the sweet spot for our business. If we don't have all of those 3 things, then moving forward, it's probably not the best business idea for you. You know, we can have a business doing something we love to do and that we're good at, but if someone's not willing to buy, or if it's not something that people want, then it's not going to be a business. So we need to make sure we're covering all these spots. So for example, I have some friends who have started a bit of a plant business, right? So they loved plants. They were passionate about plants, and they were actually really good at growing plants. So what they decided to do was start a little plant business. So here's my plant, which is looking a bit sad today. So I obviously wouldn't choose to go into a plant business because I like plants, I love plants, but I'm not particularly good at growing plants. So it wouldn't be a good choice for me. But they did it, and they grew their plants, they love it, and people were buying them, and they've made a great business, small business out of selling plants. Another example is my colleague here today, Christy. She's actually a good friend of mine, and we have a not-for-profit where we help women make a difference in the world. We run a lot of events and workshops and do lots of fun things, but we don't get paid to do it. And we came to a bit of a crossroad a few years back, and we thought we really need to be getting a little bit of income to help us run this not-for-profit, because we were putting so much time and effort into it, but we weren't getting any money. So we decided that we would make a little business on the side. Probably more Christy's work that was put into this, because she's the creative head in between the both of us. And so she decided to do something that she loves to do, to pick something that she really loves and she's passionate about. She chose to pick something that she's good at, and she chose to pick something that she knew our customers would buy. So what we did was we went out, we're really passionate about ethical fashion and about there's so much clothing that is being sold and there's so much goes into landfill and into our environment. And we thought, how about we start buying more from op shops and secondhand shops? So we started doing that personally. We were buying more secondhand clothes. But so when we thought about our business, we thought, well, we love that. So let's buy secondhand clothes. So we started buying really cheap jackets. We started going to the op shop and picking up jackets for like $5, $10 each. And then we decided, well, what can we do with these jackets? What do we love to do and what will people buy? So we got the jackets and then we decided that we would get them embroidered on the back. So we started getting these really cool sayings and quotes and things embroidered on the back. And we loved them. So we're looking at a jacket that cost us $5 from the op shop, which we had a lot of fun going and buying because we enjoy that. And then we'd take it to an embroiderer who would charge us $15. So $20 was our cost in that product. We were selling those jackets to our customers then for $70. So there was a great markup. We were doing something we loved. We were good at it, and we knew we had customers who were buying it. So as we move forward today, I really want you to just think about the things that you love to do, the things that you're good at, and the things that people would pay for. So we're actually, I'm just looking at how many people we've got here. We might just have a little bit of a breakout session. Grant, I don't know if you want to organise the breakout rooms. I think even if we just have 2 or 3, and what we'll do, we'll go off into these rooms and we'll have someone in there who can lead you through a discussion just around, I just want everyone to just have a little chat about the things they love to do and the things that they are good at. We're not asking you to come up with your business idea right now, but I just would love just to see everyone come up with some ideas around what they're good at and what they love to do, and potentially whether people would pay for these things. So we'll just spend about 5 minutes doing this.
Okay, so I'll make 3 rooms and there'll be 6 of us in each room. How's that sound?
Sounds great. Thank you.
Now, so what it will do, it will just divide us up. So here we go. I'll see you in 5 minutes. I'll just quickly do this. So we might join. Which one do you want to join? We might join this one. So, hoping that worked well. I really hope. I wasn't aware that there was a 1 minute timer. So, did your rooms close after 1 minute?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Good.
No, you did good. But we got a bit cut off, but that was okay. That's what happens in breakout rooms.
Oh, yeah, I actually thought that we went over time, so that's why
I think we did, but that's fine.
Which isn't a bad thing, because when you start talking, it's great, really. So yeah,
it is. And everyone, look, the breakout room that I was just in, and I'm sorry, someone got cut off there, but it's hard to know how much time we need. But so many amazing ideas. I am just blown away. I don't know about the other groups, if anyone wants to share. Maybe what the other breakout rooms. Grant, were you in one?
Yeah, I was. I wouldn't mind sharing ours. So we had art was a really big thing that came through. Photography and just like capturing those moments. Empowerment, research, education, learning new ideas. And most of this had that real cultural element too, which was really good. Sound recording and digital storytelling, filming, and photography again, yeah. So there was a couple that aligned, but yeah, I think the arts and the education and the empowerment and photography were the top 4.
Yeah. Yeah, I think ours was the same. Lots of art and very creative jewelry makers, things like that. Yeah, really inspiring. And can we have someone from the other group just let us know? Were you in another one, Peter? Yeah.
Yeah, so our group were a bit inspired by Aunty. We had healthy cooking and healthy living, and wanting to look at bringing health to community through food and exercise. We had another person who was very practical in a remote mining town, thinking about bringing mechanical skills and setting up a mechanical workshop. And we also had 2 very creative people as well, with murals and really looking at their art and ways that they can build revenue from their artwork.
Great. That's so amazing. Thank you to everyone who was shared quite openly about their passions and the things that they love to do, and a little bit about their business ideas that they've already got. So it's so amazing. So we're going to keep going. And I just want to also say that if you still not real sure on your business idea, that is fine, because at this point when you're not meant to be completely sure. So we're going to keep going and keep chatting a little bit about what we need to have a great business. I'll just go to the next slide. Oops, sorry, a bit far. So another thing that is really important when we're coming up with our business idea is not just our sweet spot, which is all about the things we love to do and the things we're good at, but also that we are solving a problem. So we need to make sure whatever business we've come up with, so if you've already got an idea in your head, maybe you can start thinking about what that business is solving, what problem it's solving. So remember, you've got your founder, which is you. So you're the founder, you're doing something you love, you're doing something that you're good at. But before developing your solution, you need to identify the problem you are going to solve for your customer. So going back to the coconut grove, the coconut grove business, all those ideas that we came up with, they were all solving a problem for the customer, whether it was providing them a drink when they were thirsty, whether it was providing them food when they were hungry, providing them a solution to their dry skin. All those things were providing a solution to a problem. And another example I thought would be really great to share with this group today is the tribal warrior example, which I'm sure all of you know about. So, as I heard it from you wonderful people, is that there is a wonderful group who were the founders, which were the elders in Sydney. Some elders come together and they founded what is now called Tribal Warrior. Now, Tribal Warrior, from what I believe, started because there was a bit of a problem. There was lots and lots and lots of cruises and charters happening on Sydney Harbour that were a lot of fun and really nice, and you got to see the beautiful harbour. But the thing that was missing was there was no cultural Indigenous cruises happening. So Tribal Warrior come along. The founders, the elders come along who had a passion for their culture and for their land and their country, and decided, let's provide a solution to this problem, and let's create this cultural experience on a boat that people can go on Sydney Harbour. So that's just an idea. It's also an idea of how sometimes we can have a business that's already created, that's out there in the world, but maybe you can come along and actually have a similar business, but it meets a different need. It solves a different problem. So another example would be, there's lots of hairdressers out there. We all can go and get our hair cut at the barber or the hair salon. But maybe you see a need where there's a problem, where there's some people who physically cannot leave their house to go get a haircut. So maybe you create what we would call a mobile hairdressing salon, and you actually go out and you solve that problem by going to the person's house. So we need to continually to remember what problem we are solving in our business. Now, I'm going to hand the next slide over to Aunty, because Aunty has created a wonderful business, social enterprise that also solved a problem. And I'm going to let her talk about that.
Yes. What I've done is I've started up my own catering company, and I was also fortunate enough to start up a little cafe as well. But with the catering company, we had some problems. It was called Biri, which means bread in the South Coast Mobs language. And it's about having the finances intact. And then your staff. This was a journey I went into, not knowing so much about business. So I had to learn on the spot. And yeah, it became a problem with some of the staff. You get good, you get bad, you don't know what to do. Then I went off and got some advice from my friends who gave their advice to me, because I didn't have a lot of money, because all my businesses and what I've done, I've financed it myself. And so it was a journey. And I went about to how are we solving these problems. So I learned that from my friends and my nephew who was in business with me. And we looked at solving the problems and came up with our own ideas how to do that. Because when you go into any business, I learned that your staff makes the business. And if you're a small business, you have to work together as a family. So that's what I see here at NCIE as well. It's a bigger company, it's a bigger organisation. And the whole idea while I'm here and telling you this is about what NCIE does. Is one day we eventually want to become self-sustainable. That is the dream. I'm here at the start of it, but maybe I won't be here at the end of it. But hopefully I'll be watching from above. And then you're looking at how we were solving our problems. It was difficult, and basically mainly with your staff. Because, you know, with how mob, when you employ them, there's a little bit of unreliability, and then you get a few that are going to be by your side for every day of the week. And I found quite a few good people, young people like that throughout the Job Ready program that I ran, and they were a part of it. And they gave their time to me sometimes for nothing. They didn't get paid for it. They came on board as giving their time. And then it was about who are the customers, the ones who paid. And that became a challenge, because they've never seen an Aboriginal organisation in Redfern in their life, and they didn't know how to deal with us. So you may come up with that problem as well. So because I'm a very resilient person, and I've been through the wars in the early stages of my life when I had no rights whatsoever, but I knew how to deal with it, because you learn to deal with it, because there are a lot of good people out there from all different nationalities that will come on board with you. And I had a lot of support from a lot of women in my circle, which I belong to, a women's organisation, and I've belonged to that for the last 25 years. So they were always on board, and they'd come and they'd have ring up for catering, or they'll come and have a coffee, or they'd have a meal. And it all started from there. And then I'd walk the streets with flyers, and I learned to have a mouth. I was a very quiet person, and that's how I am who I am today, I guess. But my passion was having an Aboriginal business and showcasing it, and our cuisine, our bush foods, and I was able to do that. And it's I had lots of downs before I had ups, and well, I'm still here today, and I'm still doing what I'm doing, And it's not about me making a lot of money. It's about me taking my skills and the education back to the community and getting the next generation to take that on. And I can go out now and make money any day because I'm already out there now. So people are ringing up for all sorts of things for me to do. So I've got a lot of different skills, and I am a nutritionist. I firmly believe in health and nutrition and well-being for our mob, and that's why I've gone into the food side of it, because a lot of our bush tucker ingredients are healthy, because we've always had a healthy diet. And I can see the young people now cooking at home again for their young children. And it's a slow journey, but it's happening. There's nothing wrong with takeout, but we have to get back to the basics. And I think this pandemic is going to teach us all that, regardless of where we come from or who we are. Because when you've gone through a depression, because I was actually born then, and I lived with it throughout the years of my life. So yes, I think we'll all learn from this. And I hope that when you do take your big idea, that you will grow with it. It won't be today, it may be next week, it may be a year later. It took me 30 years of my life to get it all up and running and started. And I'm quite established now. I can go off and get a job tomorrow if I wanted to, but my passion is NCIE and Job Ready program and what we do in the Redfern community and what I do at home. I do get the opportunity to go back home and work in the high schools with the school children up there, and I took them back a recipe from lemon myrtle butter biscuits and took some lemon myrtle from down here. I actually planted a tree in my backyard, and there is one growing at NCIE. We have a bush tucker garden established here, and we do a lot of in-house catering as well here at NCIE, which employs our students as well. I'm so proud of what we're doing. And like I said, it's not just going to be today, but it's a journey for you to take your great idea and run with it when you're ready to. But be passionate about it, whether it be media, and I know technology is the way to go, because one of my friends does walking tours and she's just about to start that up now because of the pandemic. But there's all sorts of things that you can do. But I've been fortunate enough to be passionate about food, and it's taken me and enabled me to go back to the community and take my education and training and give it to the young people in the community, whether it be here, whether it be Uluru, which I first started the Job Ready program up there. And one of my students from the Job Ready program, he is now a qualified chef and owns a business in Hong Kong. So I'm very happy to share that with you, because it can take you anywhere in the world. It's taken me around the world. It's taken me to Shanghai also, so I've had that experience, and it's all paid for. I get invited. I want to throw that in. So I don't come cheap now. But it's happening, you know, and it's happening for us. And you guys now, you have choices, you know. You have a voice, you have a choice. That's my logo at the school.
Auntie, I can read in the chat that everyone's hungry now and asking to Broome and to Tamworth and so. Oh, they are amazing.
I've never had them.
They are amazing.
They are amazing, and it's just a bit of butter biscuit. I know my sisters live in Tamworth, and one of my sisters live up the Gold Coast, and they said, asked me to send them some lemon myrtle. I won't tell you the story I told Greg about the lemon myrtle, but I was fortunate enough to have some and send it to them in the post. But it's all over now. It's going up to Queensland. It's going back home to Tamworth and Walgett and the kids at the school. I left some there for them to. It's just a basic butter biscuit and you just add your ingredients to it. So you can do lemon myrtle, you can do macadamia nut, you can do anything that you wish, chocolate chip, you can make out of it. So, you know, it's just a few ideas. But I was very passionate about food because that's what I grew up with. I learned to peel a potato when I was 8 years old. And we lived on the Nemo Valley River fishing and cooking on an open fire. I still have those skills. And I'm very passionate about that as well. So.
Aunty, the mob in Murray Bridge have just said, these biscuits sound amazing. Are there any virtual ones? We're hungry.
We're hungry.
Oh, that's good.
I know, I think it's getting close to lunchtime, so we're all like, oh, that sounds good, Aunty. Oh, Aunty, you were so inspiring, and everybody's saying that. Thank you so much for sharing. And as you might have picked up through Aunty's story there, that there was quite a few problems that Auntie's business was solving, which is what we're talking about. It's about what problem is your business solving? And so Aunty talked about how there wasn't really, the bush tucker food wasn't really in cooking. So she provided that opportunity to be able to cook with these foods that we all love so much and we're all talking about. She also was providing the problem around how there were so many younger people eating really unhealthy, and she wanted to teach them how to eat well. And the other problem was that, you know, there was young people without jobs, and so Aunty provided those jobs for them when she started this business. So there was quite a lot of problems there. So even though it was a passion project of Auntie's, she was also solving a heap of problems and then created this beautiful, amazing business. So very inspiring, and hopefully we can get some tips from that story, and just seeing where Auntie's her story and then where it's led her over the years is incredible. So I want to give everybody, after that talk of food, just a 2-minute, 5-minute max break. Just stretch your legs, go grab some, you know, Coles cookies out of your cupboard if that's what you've got. Yeah, just a couple of minutes, and then we'll come back. And there's not a lot more to get through, but we really want to show you the rest of the slides. So, but yeah, go to the loo, do what you need to do. See you in a minute.
Thanks, Adelle. Thanks, guys. We'll see you in 5 minutes. Have a stretch.
I'll go to the lady.
All right, we'll get started in a minute, but it looks like there's a few empty seats out there, so we'll wait a minute. They got lost in the cookie jar.
People move from the seats. What was that about? Open just mute him. That's gonna be a sound. Don't want to give you lots of empty seats. Lock the door. Lock it. The toilet.
Florence,
Yes.
I have your necklace here with me.
Oh,
You can kind of see it.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can make my screen.
Take the virtual screen off.
So Florence's beautiful
Beautiful.
ghost net artwork with shells from Adelle. So I have this hanging at home, Florence.
You.
And everyone always comments about it. So thank you so much. I always think of you on Adelle. Eso.
Yes, sir.
so clever, Florence. So beautiful.
Yeah.
I want one too. Where do I find you?
Southern of Queensland.
Oh, they won't let me up there at the moment.
In the Eastern Torres Strait next to Papua New Guinea.
Wow.
I think some of your work is for sale at the Maritime Museum, though, isn't it, Florence?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
Robots, yeah.
That's a bit closer for me. I'll have a
Yeah.
look there. Is everyone back? I don't think everyone's back, but we might have to get started.
I think just Jimmy's there, just the Murray Bridge mob. Morabinda was there a second ago.
All right, we might get started and they can jump in. So I just want to thank Aunty again for sharing about her delicious biscuits and about her business and the problems it was solving. So now we're going to get into a little bit more. I understand, like after talking to quite a few of you now and getting some feedback, a lot of you already have some amazing business ideas. But I encourage you in the next few moments to really even expand your mind a bit more and even start thinking about even more things. And then what we're going to do after that is we're going to choose the best idea. So this next kind of activity that we're doing, so it's all about creating ideas so you can get solutions. So creating a heap of choices, like we want to create lots of choices for you in business so that then you can make the best choice for the best business. So we're going to just pull up this slide. This is called a brain dump activity. All right, so it's all about just getting what's in our brain and putting it on paper. So for this activity, you're going to need paper and pen in front of you. And I'm going to ask you to use that paper and pen to dump some ideas on there. So I've got here, I want you to answer one of these questions and come up with as many ideas as you can. So the first question is to ask yourself the problem that your business is solving and the way you're going to solve it is, and then you can write that down, or you can write on the paper, based on my sweet spot, the business idea I might have is. So your sweet spot, remembering it's something you love to do, something you're good at, something you're passionate at, and something that someone might buy. Now, I want you to just come up with as many ideas as you can. Good, bad, nothing's crazy. Just come up with as many ideas as you can. And then we're going to figure out from there what the best idea is for you. So here's just an example I have on the next slide here. So for example, if you choose to write the problem is and the way I will solve it is, could be like this. My problem was that using the coconut grove model is that we had thirsty people and too many coconuts. That was the problem. The solution was we decided to get coconut milk and bottle it up and sell it. Another example of that is the tribal warrior, which was the problem was there was no Indigenous cultural charters. The solution was to create Indigenous cultural charters. So you can even opt to come up with a heap of ideas like that on your paper, not just one, as many as you can. Or you might prefer just to write down a whole lot of different ideas based on your sweet spot. So this idea was based around somebody who was an artist or someone who enjoyed painting. So the ideas for that person could be, the business could be painting art onto homewares. It could be painting murals on walls. It could be providing art classes or even an art gallery. So if you're an artist, there could be many, many different ways that you could make business from your art, not just one. So I just want you to write down as many things as you can. Another example is for those who love to cook. Maybe, you know, you could create a cafe, or maybe it might be you want to box up some cookies. Maybe Aunty might make some lemon myrtle biscuits one day and box them up and actually wholesale them out to supermarkets. You know, that's another business idea. So if you are having trouble, please just put in the chat if you're not really sure about what you can write. But if you can just write as many ideas as you can, or you can unmute yourself and ask a question if you'd like, but we'll just give you a few minutes to do this activity. So Jodie, you've just asked, are we doing the problem and the solution or just the problem? You can do both or just one if you like. So if you want to come up with the problem and a solution, that's fantastic. And if you want to come up with a heap of ideas just around what your business could be just based on the things you love to do, you can do that as well.
Adelle,
Yep.
I have a quick question. At the moment, with my business, with my family, we have the obvious issue, which is funding. So we do apply to funding bodies, you know, and places like that. But I was thinking as a solution, as a possible solution, is maybe building the brand. I don't know. I'm just looking for advice here. So building our brand, what we stand for, what our business model is based on. Also, for a physical thing, maybe getting together a kit of everything that, like, all of that encompassed into the kit. I don't know. Would that be something that could work? That could help with the funding problem?
So you're needing funding
for different projects throughout the business, yeah. Like even funding just to get all of that stuff compiled and put together would be really helpful.
Yeah.
And who has the time to, you know, not only search for the funding, but then you have to apply for the funding.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's one person's job on their own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
that's it. That's a big question, Peter. And so today, obviously we're just kind of skimming over business. Like we're just like,
yeah, I'm just going back. Yeah, I'm just going back to the solution though. Would that be a possible solution, is to build branding?
Build a branding.
Build the branding of the business.
So when we're talking about the solution, I'm talking about what is your business actually solving right now?
Oh, okay.
So what is the solution? So yeah, so thinking about going right back to the start and thinking about, okay, what is my business and what is the business solving? What is what is the problem that it's solving? So it sounds like you've already got the business. So this is really good for you as well to do this activity moving forward, because it gives you a lot of clarity around what you're doing and the why behind your business and things like that, so that when you do get further down the track and you want to apply for funding, it's a lot more clearer in your mind and the people that you're speaking to.
Yeah, I think this is perfect, because although we've done the business model, we haven't developed it. So this is really good business, taking me back to, okay, so this is why we've done it. This is the motivation. You know what I mean? So okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And we'll talk more about at the end. There'll be more opportunities after this to learn a little bit more about what else we can offer you when it comes to the real, you know, deep parts about business, not just the surface stuff. So
I know that's where I struggle.
Yeah.
Finding, because I've got no background in business. So just finding those contacts and building those networks is really it's difficult. So thank you.
You're welcome. All right, I think we've probably had a good amount of time on this activity, so I'm going to move to the next one, which is still working on our different ideas. So what I want you to do, now that you've compiled this list of lots of ideas, which I hope you've got lots of ideas on your paper, I want you to get your pen and I want you to circle your favorite ideas. Put a circle around the ideas that you love the most. I want you to underline the ideas that, they're all right, but they're not great, but you think if you put more thought into it, it could be a good idea. And then I want you to put a line or a scribble just through the ones that are like, nah, never going to do that. That's ridiculous. So just have a little look at your list. And so what we're going to do now, you can keep doing that while I'm talking to you. I'll just give Grant the heads up that we're actually going to go into another breakout room in a minute. And I would love you in the breakout room to just share what you've just discussed. So we want to define your idea and the problem you're solving. So this is where we really want to have a good look at exactly what your business looks like and what you would like to do if you choose to move forward with a business. So I just want, I've got here, spend some time discussing and writing down your business idea and defining the problem your business will solve for the customer in your workbook on a piece of paper. But we'll do this in a group. So we'll go back into our groups, and I'd just love for you all just to share your business idea, the one that you've decided to go with. And if you're not sure, to discuss that with the group, then maybe everyone can give some feedback and help you clarify what that business idea could be. And also the problem, like the solution that you're solving in your business. What is that? So we'll head back into our time warp through space into our breakout rooms. I think maybe if we even have about 8 minutes or so doing this, that would be great. Yeah.
And that way, hopefully, I won't cut anyone off. Just in the timer. All right. So we'll do 3 rooms again. So there'll be 6 in each room. Hey, Danny. Hey, Florence.
Hi.
Hello.
We got a little bit less in our room, but that's all right.
That's all right.
That's all good. All right. So, what were the ideas that you guys come up with? Danny, would you like to share some of yours, mate?
So I started with a big one, and that's a Gamillaroi digital production, and that would be like a big. But the one I circled was a Indig stream. So probably giving Aboriginal people a voice and having that, being able to tell their own stories. I mean, I know it's kind of like the model of NITV, but a lot of us like to stream stuff now, like I have it in our pocket and be able to, the content that you can create and share. That's what I put. And then the other side one, which is a really hard one, was like a Gamillaroi digital storybook. So where you'd go around as a production company and record those stories and hopefully keep them on. But that one had the biggest problem because a lot of the times you find there's a lot of questions around who owns the storylines, what are they going to do with it, how are they going to monetize it? You know what I mean? Community arguments around. So I think if you're the owner and operator of your own content, then something like an Indig stream would be a lot easier. So you could create the content yourself, you would own it, but I just think there's a gap there where our stories aren't being told.
Yeah.
That's me.
What was the first one again? The media.
So the first one was called Indig. So the Gamillaroi digital production. So that would be like a company that could do a lot of video productions, and like I said, it builds onto the last group that we're in about like doing live streaming of the Tamworth Country Music, the cultural showcase,
yeah.
But actually being a production company and having that as the over. I thought that was a possibility. I squiggled under that one. I didn't put a line through it. It's a massive undertaking, that one. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Lawrence, here we go to you. Lawrence, you there?
Yes, hi.
Do you want to share some of your thoughts you had with us?
Yes, the one about the coconut. Please, can you just explain it to me a bit clear?
about the coconuts.
Yes.
No, so this exercise was about you coming up with an idea or something, your vision, something you'd like to start, trying to sort of come up with a solution to a potential problem on Arab or wherever. Do you have anything in mind about that?
Yes. You mean it's just an example for a big, like for a business, like I want to start a business. Got the solution for that, yeah.
Okay. 'Cause
And another one,
sorry.
another problem, and another one about solving, it's about art classes and art gallery.
Because I know that when we were on Arab, we sort of talked to you a lot, you and the other women from Arab Arts, about how you can start to sell your own art online on platforms like Etsy and things like that. I know that that was something that you used, saying that you didn't have any avenues to try to move your artwork other than through Arab Arts itself, and that was, I think, from what I recall, wasn't happening as frequently as you'd like. Yeah, and it wasn't constant. I guess we talked about the bread and butter.
Yes.
Yeah, conversations. That's great. Thank you for sharing, Florence.
Thank you.
So I had like some type of drone company which would have avenues of drone photography, training and things like that, but there's quite a lot out there already and pretty hard to compete. But a real passion of mine is riding mountain bikes, and the clothing range, my wife rides mountain bikes as well, and the women's clothing range is very, very limited, even with all your mainstream branding like your Fox and things like that. Coming up with Aboriginal inspired sort of mountain bike clothing range, which would obviously cater for men and women. And there's nothing out there at the moment, as far as I'm aware. That was mine, which I circled. I'm actually rather keen to explore more. Because I think there's a market for it. There's a lot more women riding. And then since COVID has come, there's a lot more people out riding their bikes on the trails. And so I think, yeah, it could be the right time. Maybe. I'm just nervous. I'm a bit scared. Anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, I think with the COVID virus, because of it's put a stop there, you can only do takeouts with food. So my catering company's on hold, and then I'm thinking about outside the square now what I can do. And I think maybe I'm going to my own jams and maybe that'll work. I know it does work because I used to sell them at the markets, so maybe I'll go back into that side of it. So all of us, we have to think outside the square to the skills, our passion, your artwork, what you've got in your community, and we really need to think about how we cut out the middleman. With a lot of business.
That's where you lose your money, isn't it?
And that's where you lose your money. It's the middleman. And you sell your artwork, and the ladies from up there at Araba, they'll cut out the middleman.
Yeah.
I've seen it so many communities, and we have to learn to deal with that, whether we go, and we have to go digital and that. And once you're out there, there's no stopping you, because I know for a fact I've done it, and people win me, I don't win them. Once you've got that platform yourselves, and I'm very passionate to help the ladies where you come from, darling, because I've been up there and I know that you've got the talent, and you guys do well, and to make it grown. It'll take a little time, but it will happen. And it's like Grant, he's scared now at the moment, and I think we're all being scared, but we have time to think outside the square now and take that action and run with it, because now is the time.
I'll just have to open up the other rooms, guys. So
Hopefully that helps you to think about something, you know.
no, it's great. Awesome. You're on mute, Danny.
Can I just ask you a quick question? Just the quick question is, does IDX have the ability to do things like with live stream and stuff like that? Is that technology that you guys have looked into or anything like that?
Something that we'll be looking into a lot more now, that's for sure.
Yeah, no, all right. All right, thanks for that.
We can talk offline too. Welcome back, everybody.
We're back.
Welcome back.
So that was great. We had a really good chat in our breakout room. We've got we had Gladys couldn't speak to us. Her microphone's not working, but some really good ideas. We had a bit of a collaborative idea in our breakout room around an amazing cultural centre type business, which sounds really exciting. Does anyone want to share how their breakout room went? Grant, were you in one?
Yeah, it was good. So we talked about creating an Aboriginal-owned digital productions company up in Tamworth. Sounds really exciting. And also a storybook, because there's a gap there where I guess the mob up there, they don't really have a voice, so that was really nice to hear. Florence also shared about potentially running some art classes and potentially, art gallery online, and having a platform where they can start to sell their art, and also cutting out, the middleman as well, because that's what we find a lot of the times is that middleman who sort of takes all your profit, and then it's the margins are so slim, so it's not really worth it sometimes. But so we had that discussion as well. So yeah, that was interesting.
That's great. Sounds really good. Is Peter there? Was Peter in a breakout room?
Yep.
Did you see her?
Yep. We had an idea of the problem is the world's got too many boring shoes. So kind of up there with the boring jackets. So Tessa's idea was to paint shoes. It's a great idea. There's a market for that. I've seen a few cool shoes around, but not many, mostly boring shoes. And look, actually, we kind of got stuck a bit on the problem being more the personal problem, as in like, how do you find enough time to do all this? And we sort of got a little bit stuck on that in our conversation.
Yeah. Oh, interesting. Okay. Time to do all this. I guess in the end, if it's something you really want to do, we can always find time. I know that's probably such a typical answer, but it is. Like I encourage people who say maybe I don't have enough time to start a time journal and start looking at where you actually spend a lot of your time each week, and seeing, even if there's just a half an hour a day that you can, at the end of your day, that you can put into thinking about your business idea and about how that could work and how that could look. That's a good start, I think. I'm just checking the comments and lots of things coming through. I'm actually working on my fashion collection. If you have any questions later, that's Warabina. Time management is so important. Yeah, it is. So, yeah, I think if you need help trying to make time, there's always people that you can talk to. And I think it's really important to have even someone that you can remain accountable to. So if you are like, yes, I want to do this business idea, then make sure you have a buddy or a mentor or a family member, somebody who can just keep you accountable and say, hey, have you been working on that? Like, how are you going with that business idea? What's going on for you? Just someone that you can talk to about the idea.
Can I ask something to the group? Something that might be a little sensitive, and I apologise, but do you mind if I ask something? And
Sure.
guys, if I do offend anyone, please reach out to me afterwards and abuse me in a message, or I'll give you my number. You can ring me up and abuse me. I'm quite happy to do that if you need to get it off your chest. But my question is, one of the things that we struggle with in our community is the, thanks, Keris, is the fracture within the Indigenous community. So we've got our family, but there's a big divide, and there are certain organisations that aren't Indigenous that is creating that divide. And I really want to heal that fracture within the community, and it's sort of like, it encourages that crab in the bucket syndrome, where, you know, you get the crab trying to crawl out of the bucket, trying to, you know, and then you've got the other crabs pulling him down. So it sort of encourages that behaviour in amongst our mob, which is, it doesn't serve us any positive purpose, you know, as a group. And yeah, so how do you guys deal with that in your communities? I really, really would love to hear how people deal with that in their communities, if that's okay. Oh, thank you, Danny. I really appreciate it. I am real nervous asking this question, but I really am passionate about healing this with my community and having my mob, I'm going to start crying, seriously, but helping them realize and empower them and say, look, you know, we've got this wonderful culture and this wonderful connection with each other and with country, and if we work together, you know, yeah, we can get there. But yeah, I'm just stuck. Thanks, Keris.
Hey, Peter, Janelle just wanted to answer your question for you.
I've just got to find you. Oh, yep.
Yeah, so we have that same issue in community. So I used to work in a women's shelter here, and what was happening prior to me coming back home was there were 2 women's groups. So we sort of made a space, me and my sister girl, that said, you come to this centre, you need to put all that other crap one side, you come here, you talk good to everybody here, leave it there at the door. We don't care when you go out the door what you're doing, but this here is a safe space, and everybody, you know, sort of put those boundaries in. Yeah, and so, yeah, they know that, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's important to have that space and area where you, where you put those boundaries in.
That's a really good idea. Would you recommend getting someone to come in to mediate, or we would mediate ourselves? Like, how would that work?
I would find the common ground. What is the common ground there? Why are people having those fractions? Is it because somewhere, what do you call it? Town mob, somewhere mission mob, you know? I think the greatest thing you could do is do and I don't think it's ever been done, but, you know, have a history day, or bring all the family trees together and see how you are connected. You know, what's common? We're all the time poking sticks about what's different about us, but we don't sit down and talk about what's common here.
Or like, what are your common interests? Like if they're, you know, if they're focused on helping youth, or about preservation of culture, or like finding some kind of yeah, like Janelle was saying, common passion or value, as well as trying to, some organizations, it's tricky. You got to bring them down to just being people, right? And like actually realizing that you're not just a client coming in, you're also you're a Black woman, you're a mother or a daughter, you're just a person, and we're here because most of us are all here to help our family or community, or, you know, there's always this underlying value, and it's sort of part of like our, like almost custodianship as well in our leadership. And sometimes even if you have to take a break, and like if you're finding it hard with that certain organization, maybe it's not the time to work with them. Should be other organizations out there that might be more helpful. Or if you are feeling like it's too much, and whether it is something about funding or about permits, or if you got to go talk to the council, you know, you could ask for help. There are people who could come help you and come with you, like maybe that support, just being there as well.
Even finding out who are the what do you call it? The important people in that family,
Yeah.
or
their boss.
that spokesperson. Yarn with them first, you know, the different.
Yeah. Like some organizations, it's tricky because who you meet might be the wrong sort of person, or they might not understand your idea. But if you talk to someone else in the organization, you might have either a better chance, or they just might understand it better. So sometimes it's just asking, like when you go to the doctors and you don't agree with your doctors, you ask for a second opinion. Maybe it's just talking to someone.
Yeah, definitely. It's more about outside influence, outside people, organizations, council, that creates the divide and then encourages the divide between the families. So because it works better for their agenda, if that makes sense. So we've
numbers?
got the pastoralists, the property owners. It's yeah.
So like you could have like a company, or like bring them on your land, or like on your terms, you know what I mean? Like instead of you having to go to their meetings, like it could just be trying to diffuse the situation, because it's a lot more tense if you're at a board meeting with the pastoral or with the whatever agency it is. But if you're inviting them to come to an event that you're holding, or to sit down with some elders, then it's on your terms and it's less tense, you know, and they might need that to sit down and listen to some community more.
Yeah, I love that. Thank you. I do appreciate it. And I've got your number now.
Yeah, and you can still do business like on your terms, you know, might just be at a different table or in a different building.
Yeah. See, my dad's been struggling with this, oh God, my whole life. So, you know, I don't expect me to come in and 5-minute job and, you know, solve everything. But, you know, this is a definite start, because I know that the families want to, you know, 'cause we had the best time as kids. You know, we were all together and we'd all go down the river, go fishing, and, you know, we had the best childhood. But it's all gone. I'm going to cry.
Are you Kalali, or what's that?
Your
tribe
family.
you from? Sorry?
Who, me?
Yeah.
My mob's Wanguru Yaliandi out of Birdsville there, from Mungathiri. My mum's Arabunadiri from Lake Eyre. My dad's top end of Lake Eyre goes into Queensland. So Mungathiri, desert. So that's where we're from.
Yeah, my mom from Targabindari.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
I used to live out at Eramenga. Lovely. Thanks, guys. Your messages are amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Peter, for asking. Thank you for being so vulnerable in this space and trusting these people. And yeah, there is some amazing comments there and support. So have a read through them. But thank you for everybody's feedback and supporting Peter. So I'm going to go on to our next slide, and please feel free to stop at any time and ask a question if you have any questions, but we're almost done. So this last one is pretty important when it comes to, sorry, getting my slides mixed up, when it comes to your business idea. So it seems like everyone's kind of nailed what idea they would like to move forward with if they were to go into business. But what is really important is to make sure that people actually want to buy this. So this is a bit of a consumer test, and we're going to do this in a breakout room, but I don't think we've got enough time at the moment. So I encourage you to do this with either the person that you're sitting in the room with right now, or just have a chat to somebody later today. But the idea here is to have a think about doing a quick assessment on whether your idea is wanted, needed, usable, and whether you think people will be willing to pay for it. So really putting on the customer goggles. So imagine yourself actually physically putting on some goggles like this, and you are the customer looking at your business. Would you want it? Is it needed? Is it usable? And would you be willing to pay for it? So that's kind of the last test we have for our My Big Idea. So we've had a good look at you know, the passion test and whether your business is aligned with your passions and the things you love to do. We've had a good look at whether your business is solving a problem. And now we're having a good look at whether somebody would actually really purchase something from you, or they want it or need it. So I think if you can get all of these elements right when it comes to your idea for a business, I really believe that you are heading in the right track and that you've got a really great business idea. So I want to thank you so much for your time today. You have all been so wonderful and so engaging and so many amazing ideas. And I can't wait to just hear later down the track more about these ideas. And I know some of you already have some great businesses, and just it'd be great to hear how they're going when, you know, in the next few months. But I'm going to hand it over to Aunty to close today for us.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody. I'm feeling the love through the computer. And I'm so connected to you guys. So I just wanted you to know that I'm there for you. And the lady that spoke just recently, I live that every day of my life, and I've been living that for the past 50 odd years. And it does eventuate at the end of the day. But you have to have a foot in both camps, I call it, and it will come together. Like I go from Sydney to Walgett, and I'm the outsider up there in my own mob, but I walk around and I connect with everybody, and then the next day I'm back in the circle. But that's the way it is. And in Redfern, you got no idea. In Redfern, it's another story. But I know that I'm going to be there for you, and you can get in contact with me through Grant or Peter. And if you need to talk to anybody, that I'll be there for any of you and have a chat, because I think what you're doing is so great, and we need a platform like this to showcase who we are and continue to do that. And then with your own businesses, one day you can do that as well. And thank you so much for participating. And hopefully we'll all meet one day when this virus is over and have a chat in person. And I hope that you're safe and healthy, and stay safe and healthy wherever you come from, and be kind to one another. Thank you.
Thank you. Really beautiful words as usual. I think I can talk for the whole group saying that we're really inspired from you. You can see from in the chat, yeah, everyone's just loves you. So thanks so much. Adelle and Kirsty from Global Sisters, thank you for coming on board this week. It's been an absolute pleasure working with you, and yeah, I'm sure this is only the start of our journey together. So yeah, I really appreciate your time, and you know, the concept's absolutely amazing, and I hope that it's inspired a lot of our mob out there to, you know, try and kickstart their ideas into something else. So yeah, thank you again. Yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I'm sure everyone else did. Thanks.
Welcome. Thank you for having us.
All right, guys. Well, we've more or less ended this exactly on time, so that was great. All right, so I guess I will catch you all at 1 o'clock for the mapping workshop. So take care, have some lunch, have a stretch, and I'll see you back here in about an hour's time.
Thank you.